Good evening, Steve McKay, Shakespeare Way, Monrovia. I'm here tonight to support County Executive Gardner's bill providing for reasonable limitations on future development rights and responsibilities agreements, or DRRAs. You've received a letter from the Smarter Growth Alliance for Frederick County, and I fully support that letter. So I won't go into too many details in my limited time, but I'll just hit on a few points. Listening to some people speak, it's a wonder that any homes were ever built in Frederick County without a DRRA. You would think that we've always had these DRRA contracts, and it's why all of us have homes today. That seems to be an unstated rationale for some of the letters I've read and speeches I've heard. For these people, DRRAs have become the unquestioned default on residential development issues. Well, I for one question that assertion. I look at DRRAs a bit differently. They aren't the norm. They've been an aberration. For a brief 2-year period, we saw that last BoCC rush through 14 of them into existence. Prior to that, there weren't any DRRAs. I know there was an attempt at one, but it didn't happen. Since then, there haven't been any new DRRAs. Yes, all of this argument is over a tool that was hopelessly abused by 4 men over a brief 2-year period of time. So let's talk a little more about time. You've heard arguments in public and no doubt in private that 5 years is simply too short a period of time to complete some of these developments. Not only that, but 10 years is too little. They need more time. To the council members before me, I say this, that argument is a distraction. It's a charade for one simple reason. DRRAs were never intended to last through completion of a development. You wouldn't think that given the 20 and 25-year contracts that the BoCC handed out like candy, but it's true. DRRAs were never intended to last through build-out. Instead, DRRAs were intended to provide certainty to a development until it had reached a point of substantial construction, those footers on the ground that Mr. Manalo mentioned. At that point, the weight of Maryland law is in favor of the development, and they are considered vested in their zoning. Now, I fully recognize, to Mr. Manalo's point, that achieving vesting rights for very large developments can take time. So perhaps there can be flexibility on how long a DRRA lasts, but there shouldn't be too much flexibility. It's simply not needed. Further, if you do choose to entertain longer timeframes for DRRAs, you should only do so for very large developments that require that extra time for their vesting. Lastly, let's talk about enhanced benefits. A DRRA provides substantial benefit to a developer. It eliminates risk, and that is huge. So what does the county, us taxpayers, get in return? During the Blentlinger appeals, the developer had the gall to argue that the development itself was the taxpayer's benefit. Well, no thank you, they can have it back. Through the zoning and APFO process, the developer is already obligated to provide various benefits and concessions to the county. When you then throw in the substantial protections that a DRRA provides to the developer, we should fully expect to be compensated in return. When you write a contract, both parties expect to benefit. No, sir, if a DRRA is going to be written, it should detail the benefits provided to the county that are above and beyond their zoning and APFO requirements. That's only fair, and it's what this bill proposes. Just one last point. Let's see now. For a long time, Frederick County got along just fine without these contracts. This bill proposes reasonable limitations on DRRAs, and I strongly urge you to vote yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
I would like to associate myself with Steve's remarks, and I don't know if he wants me to say this or not, but I do want to mention that he and Pam are here on their 30th wedding anniversary, so that's commitment and dedication.